Welcome to Sophia's Emporium. Today's June 1st, and I'm Sue's Pratt. Oh, what this is really about is me wanting to give you something to look at because we're going to play a conversation between myself and a friend last night when I went live on Facebook to document the fact that during curfew we had major gunshots ring out. And of course, I was up again all night. But the point is, I'm having a conversation with someone I've known since 1979. And she's always been a sweet girl. She was hassled a whole lot in high school because it was obvious that she was gay. She was lesbian. That was irrelevant. We all cared about each other, loved each other. There wasn't fun being made. And she had a hard way to go getting through high school. So we do tend to talk on Facebook when I go live, and she'll come in and be supportive. So I want to get that audio going, and I've just got a few minutes before my client comes in. So give me just a moment, and we'll get this started. Good evening, everyone. It's me. It is quiet, and I'm very tired this morning. Miles away. Here in Ferguson, St. Louis. Now, we've had a curfew since 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's been quiet, but about 2:27 a.m., gunfire, which was really way too close to comfort, peeled out. So, hey, Stephanie, how are you? I thought it was best. You know I'm trying to wave. Anyhow, I thought it was best I document it. And of course, you know, it's near and dear to my heart. I don't really think there's anybody who I've encountered here that has gotten over the trauma of what happened in 2014. And of course, the whole world's feeling it, so. I'm at a good vantage point. Well, you know, it's a way bigger story than anybody had ever hoped to find. And what was allowed to happen here due to a really odd agenda that most people know about now, at least enough to begin to wrap their minds around it. That wasn't really possible back then as it was happening. It does take a certain amount of time for people to process. And I really hope along the way that I've helped to help people see what was a good way to survive it and maybe a little different way to look at it. But, you know, Stephanie, you should really come check out my YouTube channel because I'm really not much on Facebook. It's unusual that I'm here. But I've been talking all night. It's so much easier to just do it this way. And then if I need it, I can get it and get it onto YouTube because, you know, Joe knew that the police station had been hit by 4:45 a.m. and he saw a video. And you know how it is, certain things come to you that you need to see when you interact with this technology. So he's the one that let me know. And then you hear a lot about it on the news and such. And like I said, tonight was a curfew, but I was explaining to people earlier, you know, especially with Ferguson, and it's a one-horse town. The main drag, of course, was hit, which was to be expected only because, oddly enough, I was hearing on it. I was hearing all about it on these YouTube people that I can read their little coded messages, and they knew about it before it happened. So, you know what that means, right? Oh, I've gotta be okay. Are you kidding? I mean, who is gonna be okay, right? And, you know, I'm supposed to be helping people. And behind the scenes, I've always admitted and known and witnessed to something incredible going on. And where am I gonna run and hide? I mean, I never really could my whole life. I mean, I knew that, it was obvious. This is global. And I still say it goes back to everything I've had to talk about and all these things that seem so odd. But life is odd. And when you're a hairdresser, you see a lot of odd things right from the go. People are strange when you're a stranger, you know. But love is above all, and you know it's hard right now, so people are kind of tripping. But I'm always glad to see that you're surviving out here in Facebook land. That's right. And Grace, you know, Grace is so huge to me, not just because of the name Grace Chapel, but what my personal walk has been with this very benevolent, quirky, humorous creator being. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe people don't know how real it is. But then, you know, now you're back to silly reasons why, and that's why there should be no prejudice and no war and no hate, and get over the trauma, you know, as a group, and be the ones to say that we saw the beginning of some kind of, oh, you know, like a spin on the old story that heaven on earth is somewhere else. And, you know, there's got to be a better way than this video game algorithm program, because, you know, I don't care how freaky anybody is, man. You can't tell me that what I speak of isn't something that really was experienced. I remember so much more than people expect. And if that's some kind of quirky thing, well, then so be it. And, you know, maybe it's the result of living in a 3 mile square radius, air radius, your whole life and being involved in the biggest secrets that are ever discovered, in this divided state. So many things are going on here in Missouri, and I see strides towards the best. And then I also see this crazy taking over of not only media, mainstream and YouTube or anything that's alternative that isn't part of this video game and isn't manufactured images versus real people. And we know that they can alter any image and put words in anybody's mouth. And, it's such a strange thing for me because I know it to be the complete total opposite. And you think, I mean, anybody that would have really ever known anyone that might remind you of the way that I am and I've always been, why would there be any reason to not believe? I mean, everybody is free to that expression of individuality. And nobody knew it cut and dried, and then to find out all these other things and what's happening and what this all really means. That's why I say you might like my YouTube channel, because I document it all there. And with what's happened with the war on Facebook and the sabotaging of all the mainframes, all the systems back in 2018 and forward, it was really just hard to survive. And then you have to say, why would I want to continue on this computer? Come to find out, is not only a catalyst for all these acts that spun out of control, and nobody knew their intent was real, and everybody acted like they didn't know there wasn't any secrets, whether it's your belief is technology or God or even the devil, because everybody's got a different take. I mean, I think deep down we've always known that there really is no secrets. I think that sucks for people that, try to do their best to get around it, man, because I don't know if that's the new chair and the cat jumping down or if that's outside. Noise becomes so specific, Bless your heart. I love you too. I'm ready for action all the time. And I will be awake. And if I doze off here and there, man, that's cool. But, you know, it's not that long till the sun rises. And that's how I have to look at these nights. And somebody has to be witness to it. And this place really is a matrix. I mean, it's a trip, you know, and the history and how important it is, and to know where we come from. So we always know where home is, and, you know, all the different specifics. And that's not even hard to believe that a divine creator already knew all those things and had to create some way for us to find. This God I talk about, you know, they, because it's a complete being, male, female, you know, they want a lot of interaction. And that's cool by me. People expect something out of what they expect me to be, and when you guys figure out the big story they wrapped up around it, you'll go, dadgum, man. I mean, I'd like to make it to that point, you know? But anyhow, I'm gonna get off the phone. Let me see what you said, Stephanie. Hang on. My final thoughts was they needed to arrest someone, but they need to lay back. So that would be absolutely true. A lot of people like to use, you know, educated words like scapegoats or sacrifices or examples or whatnot. But it's more like the way they word it in a book is, you know, their biggest concern was never getting caught. So I can't really believe it's all because of my innocence, you know, and cracking some kind of code in this nutty video game that, you know, that could be like, you know, a single entity event. And I think they're tripping that the creator of this universe had it all planned out. You know, I know it's not really like normal chit chat. You know, Stephanie, I could have never imagined the kind of wars that these powers and principalities would be able to command and use people's trauma in such a sinister way to make them actually have physical motion and beliefs, and you really have to think at that point, wow, because I'm telling you for real, these beings have all made themselves known and there is no denying it. And they were always here. And if what I said the other night was true, and it winds up that we would be known as the most least civilized of any modern day culture, you think, you know, man, that sucks. And people are so fearful of the unknown. And then, I mean, on top of that, my goodness, most people don't do well with change. I've always been okay with that because, like, in my words, it's like I say, God picks me up and puts me here, you know, or it wouldn't, it happens too natural that all of a sudden I'm somewhere else. And, you know, all I can think about, Stephanie, is like the whole thing that I've learned of how real it is. These guys, like our buddy Eric, you know, they would be so into Star Trek or space travel or rockets or whatever it is. I mean, even though it's so real to them, they would have no words or comprehension to be able to really believe what's happened behind the scenes. And it doesn't really matter who did what first, when, what, you know, thing, because it really doesn't change the reality of it. You know, at a certain point, it seems so much more sensible that it would be a
What, did I fall
very
asleep?
creative way to make that a complete global wipe, because there's no one that would be standing that would say that they would lose out on that deal. You know, it's too stupid and it's too orchestrated like a bad script. And when they know, I know that it's easy to prove that they could purposely write things back before 2000 that would be looked at as fringe, that they would debate on whether it was real or not. I'm telling you, sure as shit, it's very real.
they would call that, like predictive programming. Sometimes I call it a premeditated script, which to me would have to be your real information. It doesn't make sense to me that that could be not part of it. However they do that. They kind of work a lot with frequencies and things that some people call New Age, but I guess those same people don't remember how ancient they think the radio is. I mean, it's silly to keep thinking everything has to get fancier and fancier and better and all these things. When in the end, that's the very thing that people disdain as they worship it, and that makes for bed bugs and stuff. I just don't like it. You ain't kidding. And I don't think anybody, my own self, should be pulling any of the cards when they focus on one special group and target in. Each and every individual should have to be responsible for being beyond that, because there's too many people that have actually spread a lot of malicious mistruths through their own trauma concerning not being able to heal of that very thing. And that's why I say that there's a lot of things that are being obviously overlooked that have been known for centuries. I mean, I've got the official medical books from the, physician's desk with the seals and, the Origins of Life book and all the important books, but nobody cares. And it's like, that makes no sense. I mean, we need real knowledge on these things, and it figures it's got to be the redheaded troublemaker, right, Stephanie? But there's no way you could just say that was like some kind of weird coincidence that just happened, and it winds up fitting so much into what's going on with hairdressing and every other thing. It's definitely they say anything that's really alive is magical. It's a very active time. That's all I know. So, that's right. There has always been something greater than you and I, at foot here, And exactly. And I can't imagine anybody would think it'd be some traditional failed way of showing who's who through their own actions, This God sure did make some amazing creatures. And you know, they say in Dogma, Stephanie, the way you know God has a great sense of humor is because he created the platypus. You know? Exactly. Yeah, I know. But that is a disorder. There's surely different situations for each, choice that's made along the way and how people feel about it. But that's a whole lot of work for people who just want to take a pill and they have an instant fix, and that's where people start getting pissed off. And I mean, like, shoot, if I would just keep my mouth closed, nobody'd get pissed off. But that's never what we've been instructed to do, whether it's as followers of Christ or, whether it's morals and ethics or whatever, right? I'm looking for my smokes. I'm not doing, oh wow, that's my hand. Let me flip this around. There we go. There's old Larry. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I like this house a lot, but to see everything that's happened and to know how close the war is and to know we came here for a reason all these years ago, man, I'll tell you what, it is a trip. And weird enough, they said, here, let me show you my new display. I'm always rearranging my stuff. All the computer parts nobody knows about. Don't tell anybody. That's way too dark. Forget about it. My eyes, man, are toast. I had about 3 hours of sleep with the activities of, oops, here I am. Through the activities of, that this electromagnetic pulse weaponry, like they used back in the riots after Mike Brown, that really is meant to adjust people's attitudes. And you know how stress has to do with the beginning of 80% of all what they call diseases. And in the meantime, there's so many stressors. And you think about what it would have been like to live in what you think was a less civilized time. But in the end, I don't think that anybody would say, well, the technology was worth it. I mean, if you really look at it on a bigger scale, unless there really is, I believe there is, a benevolent force that's meant to turn things around with that, to say the least. And, I didn't know all this went back to a story back in the day of a guy, and they were teenagers. These were affluent children of wealthy parents in the top of their technological fields. They had all the video games, they had all the stuff, and basically, this guy, he didn't feel like it was going to be right that the phone books and things like that were going to be snatched away. And like basic information would become almost forgotten about, because now you don't need to even know your phone number with technology, But anyhow, these guys were good hackers. And it's just like in any group, there will always be the ones that you would say, well, this one first does no harm, where this one is motivated by power or greed or whatever, and nothing else matters, but that. I think people get so tired and they forget that there's another choice, especially when things are moving so fast. And so a lot of what happened with this was forcing people to slow down. And seriously, I was never bored once, and that's not really what's going on. And I'm telling you good and well, whether you're sick or not. And it's a long story. I think it hurts too much for people to get in touch with how the inside of their body feels and the outside. And it's like I try to explain to people, man, especially these people I've known a long time, we have never grown old together before. I mean, not that we remember, So when people ask, what about this and what about that, and how are these things all interrelated, most people wouldn't give a shit, because since you're only growing together all at once, everybody's going to forget and croak, something stupid like that, right? But in the end, I believe that this is that one and only shot in this continuance of all these incarnations and, all these different fragments and all these different dimensions and yickety squack. And, it's too much for anybody to want to take seriously, although I take it all very seriously. And no matter what a shithead I was, Stephanie, you know what? That's why those teachers really deep down did love me. And, I was grateful that they were good-hearted mentors and sparring buddies. But yeah, good night. Thanks for being here. It's always good to hear, talk to you on the phone. And you know where I'm at. Sophia's Emporium on YouTube. Peace out, girl.
All right. So let me play this cute little family and we'll get off the phone. I've got a friend that needs his hair cut and I've got 8 minutes. But what a cute little family. Man. Can you imagine what one day of everybody having true fun could do for morale? Oh, very, very child friendly. They usually say that. Yeah, this family really touched my heart in a special place, for real. Very cute. And she's just so happy to be alive. And I think that that's something that is very positive when it's real and genuine. But of course, for the people that, fake it till they think they're going to make it, oh, it sure does wind up vexing them, doesn't it? So, Hiru Gab, it's always wonderful to hear your thoughts and to have you here in our presence. So, it's been real. And like I said, who knows what's going to happen tonight? But I'll be on it. And I've got some paperwork I need to do, different things like that. That's why I always say it's good to have several things in the day that you feel like you want to try to accomplish that day. If you have more than one, you don't feel bad if you don't get the one thing done. But if you have three or four, you're checking them off as you go along, you know. I mean, shoot, maybe finding those papers to be just like this, maybe it only take 3 minutes and I'm off and running in a whole other story. And of course, I'll be able to publicly speak about it because it's my stinking life. And they can tell the world how that happened. Inquiring minds want to know. And there's a lot of good that could be done if my dowry was restored. Okay. See you later. Bye. And keep the faith.